So you obviously already have a lesion. Maybe you want to turn off the AI. I don't know if the AI is on or not, but if it's off, it's off. That's good. Maybe it's Zoom I'm seeing that's on. So we now have what endoscope have you got? It looks like Fujifilm. Is that right? Please read
Yes.
off.
So
Please read off the side of the instrument what it is.
yeah, so
What
we have
model is it?
switched to the Fujifilm, the 760Z
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
with zoom
Nice.
function.
Beautiful image. So, okay, I'm going to so Lobka's going to do the training in this one. I'm going to sit here in the seminar room and button out. But Lobko, I'll let you take it away. Please follow the GPAD algorithm.
Yeah. So I'll maybe first introduce the patient. So we have a 82-year-old comorbid patient who is under Eliquis for AFib, who had a colonoscopy because of blood loss per annum. And in this colonoscopy, this lesion was found about 2 months ago, was not resected at the time, and it's referred for resection to us now.
Okay, what does your blink say?
My blink is negative.
Even though you have spontaneous bleeding?
The spontaneous bleeding is partially because the polyp was covered in a lot of mucus and stool, so I had to clean it, I had to get around it, and it wasn't bleeding at first, but getting the mucus off, it started to gently ooze at some of the places.
Okay, so we better go up close then.
Yes. So I'll turn on.
So maybe just the landmarks. PJ already told me though they're not the appendiceal orifice is not involved, just right next to it.
Yeah.
Very important when you want to start an EMR is really knowing where your orifice lies. Really be sure that it's not involving the orifice, or if it is, you might consider different techniques out of the scope for today, I think.
Also not close to the ICV.
No, also not.
Oh.
True. So if we're looking up close, you've already flicked on virtual chromoendoscopy, BLI in case of Fuji. And we're not on Zoom yet, I think.
No, so I'm trying to show the extent of the lesion
Okay.
first, and then we'll have...
So which Paris would you give this?
This to me, seeing that it's really just a big nodule, I think it's a 1S lesion to me.
Lesion, yeah. And what about the regularity of it? Let's maybe indeed you focused now, right?
Yeah.
You've zoomed.
Maybe just stop it. Yeah, to me it looks pretty regular. Most of the polyp. It's not all very easy to interpret with some of the blood and some of the mucus still on, but I have not seen anything that is raising a lot of concerns right now.
I agree. So, but let's just for clarity concern, we're used to seeing what's now in the left. Yeah, and the left of that we would describe definitely as completely regular. People might question, go to the right, please. Might question, what about these vessels here? They're a bit dilated, they're a bit irregular, but you often see them, I find, like when they're like it's almost flaky. I don't know, David, if you want to comment on that, but I don't think they're worrisome.
I think it's a classic villus type pattern, isn't it?
Exactly.
Which you do very commonly get in this kind of big, bulky polyp. We talked a lot about different patterns, and the villus architecture, they tend to bleed, they tend to be, quite bulky, and they tend to look exactly like this. And I agree with you what you said. I don't see much irregularity here.
So what we will discuss is the technique, of course. So what are you thinking?
So at first, before we went live, I inspected the polyp and it's quite mobile. So I'm not suspecting any obvious deep invasion. I wasn't suspecting it by blink, but you can always have covert, I think, in these sessile lesions. This didn't really look like that. When I entered, there was also a lot of water and a lot of mucus. When I tried to do an exchange. I also saw that the polyp started to float and started to move around a bit.
Okay.
So it is pretty mobile. It is well away from the appendiceal orifice, so I don't think we really need to take that a lot into account.
So if we think further now, so we agree that it's definitely amenable to endoscopic resection. That's the first thing we agree on. And then we wonder, do we want it to be piecemeal or en bloc? Does it really matter here?
I don't think it really matters in this case. But on the other hand, this big bulky lesion going for a piecemeal, if it's not necessary, I don't think there's that the risk is a lot lower if we go for piecemeal than for en bloc.
How large would you estimate?
I think it's around 20.
Yeah, around 20, I agree. So I think it's published, right, that lesions around 20 in the right colon can safely be removed en bloc. It's an elderly man who we don't want to put through surgery.